So coming out of high school,
Right.
you know, you're a star basketball player. Why did you end up choosing North Carolina Central University to play in college?
You know, it was one of those things, and I guess it goes back to the book. North Carolina Central never recruited me. Coming out of high school, my final two selections were NC State and Wake Forest. And NC State at the time was going to go on probation, and Wake Forest wanted me to sign early, and I really didn't want to do that. They ended up signing another guy by the name of Rusty LaRue, and a good friend of mine to this day. So I was kind of left out there. And my godmother, who worked at in-law high school, she attended North Carolina Central. She said, have you ever thought about attending North Carolina Central? And I was like, I really don't know much about North Carolina Central. I've heard the name. And, you know, the coach came in, to make a long story short, and he said, look, I never recruited you because I never thought I had the chance to get you. But if you would love to come, I would more than welcome you. And my mother, I just remember sitting at the kitchen table, and that look on her face, she told me, I don't care where you go. I just don't want you around here in the streets, you know, and because where I was from, only in 40 years, I think 6 kids went to college, and 2 was from under my mother's roof. So, you know, she wasn't looking at it from a perspective of, you know, let the next school be your vehicle to the NBA. It was just like, this was a survival platform for her. So she was like, you know, I just want you to be out of here. And needless to say, and I wouldn't advise anyone to do this, I signed scholarship papers to go to North Carolina Central without ever seeing the university. I just signed, like, you know, like,
It's fate.
Yeah.
yeah, and I was like, after the next day, I was like, what did I just do? You know, at least, and the campus was 30 minutes away, so like, you know, it ain't like I had to fly to California or anything. It's like, you know, what did I just do? So I just remember praying to God, like, man, please let me love this campus, and it's been the most important decision I've ever made.
Yeah. So you mentioned the NBA a little bit. I know you had a tryout with the NBA.
Right.
You know, was it your dream? Was that kind of what you?
Yeah,
thought you'd be doing?
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. You know, it was 1996, and you know, I was with the Seattle Supersonics, and I was just for sure I was going to make the team. And the team was coached by George Carl, and my mentor was on the team at the time, Nate McMillan. He was actually from my neighborhood, and you know, there were some guys on the team, Sean Kemp and Gary Payton, who were all-stars, and I just thought I was going to make the team. I performed well. And they had an office that whenever they cut rookies, they would call you in there. And Coach Carl called me, and I was like, Coach, I'm not going in that office. Like, you know, you talk to me out here. You know what I'm saying? Say what you got to say. And, you know, he told me the bad news, and it was just a business decision. It wasn't based off my talent, and that's when I knew the business of the NBA. And fortunately for me, you know, there were so many other scouts that had seen me play. They wanted me to come overseas and, you know, just get a check right away. So I was all for that, and I was able to take that check and, you know, buy my mom a first house.
Right, that's
So
awesome.
going off of that, why did you decide to quit playing and go into coaching?
That's a very good question. You know, once you're overseas for so long, and I think I was in like 6 or 7 countries, and I loved the countries, but I didn't even feel like an American citizen anymore. I felt like I was a European citizen, because you're going through the playoffs and you're playing for 10 months over there. You're coming over here, and that month and a half is going by like that, and you're going right back. And
It's hard to adjust when you come back.
Absolutely. And this was pre-internet and all that, so I didn't have no connection, you know, back to America, and I was lonely. I didn't have any credit. I was single. Like, it was just, it's like, hey, this ain't how I wanted this to potentially end up. And I just remember coming back to playing the summer league, and a guy that I've always looked up to said, listen, this middle school wants a basketball coach if you're interested. And I said, yeah, I'll look at it. And I looked at the position, and my favorite teacher of all time was the assistant principal. She was my 7th grade teacher, and she asked me to coach the team, and I said, okay, I will. And I did it for like $800 for 3 months. So you divide that by 2, and you know, it's 200. You know, I was high rolling. I was gonna stay single that way too, right? You know, but I was the happiest man in the world. And 2 weeks later, she said, "These kids really love you. Have you thought about teaching?" And I was like, "Oh no, I'm not teaching. Like, you know, that would be my karma for every headache. You know, there's some teachers out there saying like this guy right here.
Say you're sorry right now.
Absolutely, I apologize. Y'all know, you know. So, you know, she had a way of convincing me to do that, and I did it, and it's the best decision I've ever made.
Yeah. So is it better to win as a coach or as a player?
a player.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's best as a player. Because when you're a player, you know, I always think coaches get way too much blame and far too much credit. You know, the reality is we're not controlling anything. You know, I didn't score any points this year or grab any rebounds. I'm on the sideline in the suit hoping. You know, that's the reality. But when you're a player, you actually you control those variables. You know, you have the ability to make or miss a shot and, you know, get a rebound or a steal or assist. And it's just become a lot of self-gratification because you put in so much work to reach that point. But as a coach, you're definitely proud, but you're more proud of the kids, and you're blessed that they had the opportunity to listen to you, and you know, they allowed it to happen.
But as a coach, you do guide the players. So how do you motivate your players?
You know, I do a lot of mine through humor. You know, this is a different generation. They're a little more sensitive to things. So, you know, when you know, I have a lot of analogies. That's pretty much how I make my point. And a lot of times we use it in humorous ways where everyone is laughing, but, you know, it ends with a ha ha ha, and then we get it, you know. So that's pretty much how I do it, you know. And I research. I try to find creative ways to do that. And because my job is to build men and mold men. And, you know, you have to hold them accountable. And one of the things that we do, and it never fails, every year when we have a team meeting, I ask everyone, you know, who wants to go pro. And 15 guys raise their hand. So we go and we play musical chairs. And we take away each chair, and, you know, I let them have their favorite song. And, you know, the last man standing, I congratulate them and tell them they get a day off in preseason. But the reality is, you know, it was tough for you to win a game of musical chairs in your own gym with your favorite song playing with your teammates. If you want to go NBA, you know, you got 1.2 guys that you're playing musical chairs against. And it's only 30 chairs out here, so, you know, the odds are pretty much not in your favor. So this is why I'm demanding that you go to class. This is why I'm demanding you work hard, et cetera, et cetera. So it worked out.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you for being on the show. We certainly
Thank you,
appreciate it.
guys.
Good luck in the upcoming basketball season. We'll be rooting for you guys.
Thank
So
you, guys.
Go
that's
Eagles.
the lowdown on LeVelle Moton.